Hi grade 6, how are you today? Today we are going to learn a new method to represent the data, which is a frequency table and histograms. So, frequency table is a table that divides the data into groups or classes and show how many data value occur in each group. We have two kinds of frequency table, the ungrouped data and the grouped data. Let us start with the ungrouped data. If you have the following data, which is a survey was carried out among 50 children, and they were asked about how many spellings they'd had, the following data was recorded. Can you know how many times each number occur? Yes, but you can find the answer, but you need a lot of time. So, we are going to arrange this data into a frequency table to find the answer easily of any other question. Actually, we found that 0 spellings, 2 students, 1 spelling, 11 students. طبعا you know that this procedure is the tally chart. Do you remember the tally chart? We said about it and we learned about it in a previous session. 2, 15, 3, 14, 4 spellings, 6, and 5 spellings, only 2 students. Of course, as you remembered from the tally chart, the frequency represents the number of students or the number of people who have certain number of spellings. Now you can easily answer any question about the data. After that, you can draw a histogram. So what is the histogram? Actually, the histogram is a graphical display of data using bar of different heights. But in the histogram, each bar group number into ranges. Taller bars show that more data falls in the range. A histogram displays the shapes and spread of continuous sample data. It looked like the bar chart, but there is no spaces between the bars. So it's a vertically bar chart, but there's no spaces between the bars. This is what we call it a histogram. For the following data, fill the frequency table, then draw the histogram. How many students score 1? 2 students, so 2. How many students score 2? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 students score 2 points. How many students scored 3 points? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, 4 students. How many students score 4 points? 1, 2. How many students score 5 points? Only 1. Now, we are going to draw this frequency table into a histogram, and this is our histogram. So, this is the score, this is number of students or the frequency, and as you can see, it's x-axis, y-axis, no differences from the vertical bar chart. The only difference here is there is no spaces between the bars in the histogram. Use the following histogram to answer the below questions. What is the total number of flats? Look, what is the total number of flats? Actually, 100 plus 300 plus 500 plus 400 plus 200. So I have 1,500 flats because 1 room 100 flats, 2 room 300 flats, 3 rooms 500 flats, 4 rooms 400 flats, and 5 rooms contains 200 flats. What is the total number of rooms? 1 room, how many times? 100 times. So 1 by 100 plus 300 by 2 plus 500 by 3 plus 400 by 4 plus 200 by 5. So the answer is 4,800. The average number of rooms per flat. Average means fraction. So total number of rooms divided by total number of flats. 4,800 divided by 1,500. We can remove the zeros and divide 48 by 15. The answer will be 3.2. So the total number of flats means what? Means, as we said, 100 plus 300 plus 500 plus 400 plus 200. But how many rooms we are going to take? How many flats times how many room in each flat? So 100 contains 1, 100 times 1, 300 contains 2, so 300 times 2, 500 times 3, 400 times 4, 200 times 5. So we'll have 4,800 rooms. Okay, guys? Now you are ready to solve 8E question 1, 2, 3, 4. Good luck. Now let us move to the group data. Group data are data formed by aggregating individual observation of a variable into groups, so that a frequency distribution of these groups serves as a convenient means of summarizing or analyzing the data. The first thing, we need to know the range of the data, which is the largest amount minus the smallest amount. Then we need to know the class interval, which can be chosen according to the data that you have. The following video can help to introduce the concept. If you can't view the video, you can easily copy the link to your YouTube page, and then you can view it easily. Listen, guys.
Okay, our lesson for today is on frequency tables and histograms. And all a frequency table is, it's a table we set up to help us collect data, and it'll break our data into intervals for us. So if I were given this group of data here, I would set my frequency table. The first column is always just your data, whatever you're looking at. The middle column is for tally marks, and the last column is your frequency. And so when I'm setting up my intervals, they have to be even size intervals. I have to go, I go from 1 to 5. Then my next one would have to be 6 through 10. After that would have to be 11 through 15. And then 16 through 20. And then 21 through 25. So there are 5 numbers in each one of these intervals. I can't go 1 through 5 and then 6 through 12 and then 13 through 15. Those
guys, make sure that all the intervals have a same range, okay? Same range. So 5 values each interval means 5 values each interval until we reach the last value. The first number we choose and the last number we stopped according to our range, which is the smallest number we have and the largest number we have, which is our range of data. Okay, guys?
They're all different. They have to be the exact same size every time. Once I have made up my intervals, then all I have to do is go through my data and mark them in the correct set, correct interval, using tally marks. So the 3 would go here, and so would the 5. 8 goes down below, and I'll notice that I am crossing these off as I go because I want to make sure that I don't miss any, and I want to make sure that I don't count any twice. So I will always, when I'm going through my data, I always cross them off while I'm doing this. And so I'm just going to finish these up quickly. Don't forget that when I get to 5 marks in one section, one interval, I will cross that. The reason we do that, like that, the reason we do it is just to make it quicker to count later on. If I have a really large set of data and I end up with 27 tally marks in one interval, I don't want to sit there and count 27 individual tally marks. That's going to take a while. If I can go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 26, 27, it's much quicker and easier. So then for my frequency, all I do is write what the tally is as a number. So that is 4, 3 in that interval, 5 in this interval, 2 in that one, and 6 in the last interval. Now,
1 to 5 means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I have any of these 5 numbers, I'm going to put a mark on the first group. If I have 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10, I will put a mark on the second group. If I have 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, I will put a mark in the third one, and so on. Then I will find how many times each group appears. Group 1 to 5 appears 4 times, group 6 to 9 appears 3 times, and so on.
Histograms look just like bar graphs, but they actually come from frequency tables. So on the bottom of my histogram, instead of having categories, what I have down here are my intervals. So this would be 1 to 5, this would be 6 to 10, 11 to 15, 16 through 20, and 21 to 25. Up the side, what I'm graphing on there is the frequencies. So I have to find my biggest frequency, which is 6, and on my graph I got to make sure I have enough room to get up to 6. So if I just count by ones here, that gives me plenty of room to get up to 6. And so maybe the data I'm looking at here is the number of hours students spend on homework in a month. And so down here, I would label this as hours. This side would be labeled as the number of students. And then I would title my histogram maybe hours worked on homework. But I always must label both axes, the bottom and the side, and I must title my graph every time I make one. And now I'm just going to go and make my bars. So the first interval had a frequency of 4. So this bar will come up to 4. Now the difference between a histogram and a bar graph is in the histogram the bars actually touch each other. So my next interval had a frequency of 3. So touching this bar coming over here is the next one. The third interval had a frequency of 5. So I'll bring this one up to here. My fourth one had a frequency of 2. And that touches off of that bar. And my last one had an interval, or had a frequency of 6. So I'll bring this one all the way up here. And those bars do touch. And this is what my histogram would look like. Intervals on the bottom, labels what they're talking about. Go up the side high enough so that my biggest frequency can fit on there. Label that, and make sure I title my graph, and make sure the bars are touching in a histogram. And that's how you make a histogram.
So guys, now you are ready to solve the rest of the questions in 8E, which is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 all the